Japan is one of the most beautiful and modern countries in Asia. But real life here is full of strange and fascinating things that are hard to truly imagine unless you have been there yourself. Welcome to this journey through Japan, where money can even buy an apology. Women are willing to pay for a man's attention, and even Buddhist monks can get married and have children like anyone else. One of the most modern countries in the world, still full of homeless people. Japan always leaves a strong impression on international visitors with its spotless streets, beautiful scenery, and ultra-modern cities that feel like they came from the future. But don't let that fool you into thinking poverty and hardship have disappeared in Japan. There, ending up homeless is not just about not having enough money for rent. For many people, especially older men who once had stable jobs, it also means the collapse of their dignity. That is why you rarely see them sitting out in crowded places asking for money, the way you often do in many Western cities. They drift under bridges, along riverbanks, onto vacant lots, or into places most passers-by barely notice. Because of that, outsiders can easily assume Japan has solved homelessness. But maybe what it has really gotten better at is keeping it out of sight. Japan's urban design reflects that too. Public benches often have armrests in the middle, so homeless people cannot lie down. Many parks close at night. Downtown areas are kept so clean and controlled that they almost leave no room for signs of temporary survival to remain. The second shock is the trash cans. After the 1995 sarin gas attack on the Tokyo subway, many public trash cans were removed for security reasons. But instead of turning the streets into a mess, the opposite happened. Japanese people take their trash home or keep it with them until they find the right place to throw it away. Women pay big money just to have a man sit beside them. Is this how you picture Japanese women? A soft voice, neat clothes, light but attractive makeup, gentle manners, and always aware of how to keep the atmosphere comfortable for the people around them. In Japan, there is a form of entertainment called a host club. It is a place where women pay to spend a few hours with attractive men who know how to talk, pour drinks, and listen well. It is not romantic love. There is no expectation of living together. Japanese women are paying for the feeling of being noticed, for the feeling that they matter. According to beginner guides and common price listings, a first-time package can cost around 2,000 to 5,000 yen at the lower end, or from 5,000 up to 100,000 yen for trial and premium experience packages, usually lasting 60 to 90 minutes. That means you are looking at a minimum of about $31 just to try the service. But that is not the full story. Once someone becomes a regular customer, the total bill climbs fast because of table charges, host selection fees, alcohol and time extensions. At that point, one night can burn through tens of thousands of yen, then climb into the hundreds of thousands. What matters here is that host clubs are not just some strange luxury. They reflect another side of modern Japanese society. The more polite a place is, and the more emotion is kept under control on the surface, the easier it becomes for private attention to turn into something people are willing to pay for. Monks can still get married and have children. If you are used to the image of monks living in hardship, alone, eating vegetarian food and cutting themselves off from family life, then come to Japan, a country that never runs out of things that seem unusual. Here, a Buddhist monk can get married, have children, eat meat, drink alcohol, and still continue in his religious role. It is a fairly normal part of how Japanese Buddhism exists alongside modern society. And when you look at the scale of religion in Japan, with around 77,000 Buddhist temples and nearly 80,000 Shinto shrines, you begin to understand why it could not remain separate from everyday life the way it has in many other places. The Japanese view of religion goes far beyond what many outsiders expect. In 2020 statistics, the total number of followers reported by religious organizations reached around 181.1 million, far above the country's actual population. That does not mean Japan has more than 181 million people. It means one person can take part in several traditions at once. Visiting a Shinto shrine at the beginning of the year, holding a Buddhist funeral, and having a Christian-style wedding without seeing any contradiction in it. Many temples are passed down from father to son like a family profession. The father serves as head priest, then the son grows up and takes over. A temple is not just a place for chanting sutras. It is also a home, a piece of property, a legacy, and a source of income. Many temples have websites, accept ceremony bookings, organize funerals, sell charms online, run cafes, or rent out space. That is what makes Japan unusual. In many places, modernization weakens religion. In Japan, modernization forces religion to change form in order to survive. And the result is a country where a monk can perform memorial rites, raise children, and drive off to temple business all in the same day. And nobody finds that strange. Money can buy anything, even a breakup or an apology. In Japan, you can buy or rent a surprising number of things, including a breakup or an apology. If you cannot bring yourself to end a relationship, someone can do it for you. If you made a mistake and need to apologize the right way, someone can bow and apologize on your behalf. In the original content you provided, the price for these types of services is described as ranging from a few dozen to a few $100, depending on how complicated the situation is. That means that in Japan, even remorse can be packaged into a professional service. What sounds even stranger is that Japan also offers funeral experiences for people who are still alive. You put on mourning clothes, lie in a coffin, listen to prayers, and witness a staged version of your own send-off. There are also services where someone comes to wake you up every morning, temporary boyfriend or girlfriend rentals for photo shoots, and even rooms you can rent just to smash things. Japan is living decades ahead of the rest of the world. A lot of people say Japan is living decades ahead of the rest of the world. That is most obvious in the smallest things. The clearest example is the bathroom. According to Japan's National Design Database, by 2024, the share of households with 2 or more people using electronic bidet toilets had passed 80%. That means something many places still see as high-end technology has already become an ordinary household item in Japan. Heated seats, warm water washing, deodorizing functions, lids that open automatically, and privacy sound buttons have all gone from luxury features to everyday normal. But what really makes Japan different is not fancy toilets. It is the way technology is applied directly to the social problems the country is actually facing. Japan is aging rapidly, short on labor, and packed into dense cities, so what looks like convenience is often a very practical response to population pressure. You see tactile paving for the visually impaired almost everywhere, lifts and accessibility support in train stations, automation in stores, smart parking systems, and all kinds of tools that support nursing care and elderly care. In many other places, the future means humanoid robots or giant screens. In Japan, the future often shows up in the fact that even public toilets, train stations, and walkways for the visually impaired are designed with far more care than in most other places. That is why Japan feels like the future, not just because it is new. It is because almost everything feels carefully thought through in advance. How to make it cleaner, more convenient, more private, less annoying, and less dependent on manpower. If you are impressed by the way Japan has invented so many practical conveniences, drop a comment with the number 5 below, a country that stays quiet about its military. Still think of Japan as an economic power that remained militarily constrained after World War II. That view is not completely wrong, but it is no longer enough. According to Japan's Ministry of Defense, the authorized strength of the self-defense forces currently stands at around 247,000 personnel. That is not a huge number compared with countries that have armies in the millions, but Japan does not build power by relying on sheer numbers to fill the gap. It invests in quality, technology, early warning, naval strength, radar, and the ability to respond very quickly in a region that is anything but stable. The more striking point is the money. In its fiscal year 2026 budget documents, the Ministry of Defense stated that spending for the Defense Capability Enhancement Program reached around 8.809 trillion yen. A country spending at that level is clearly no longer maintaining defense as a symbolic formality. Japan is preparing in a very real way, calculating in a very real way, and viewing its surrounding security environment with a very cold eye. What makes Japan more formidable is not what you see on the surface of the uniform. It is the industrial base behind it. A country that already has precision engineering, shipbuilding, electronics, robotics, strong supply chains, and a large pool of engineers will not need long to expand defense capability if the situation gets worse. In other words, what matters is not just how many weapons it has now, but how fast it could produce more if necessary. In Northeast Asia, where every security calculation has to be made quickly and accurately, Japan is very much in the game. Tokyo, the city of crowds and precision. Tokyo no longer feels like an ordinary city. According to an international urban report summarized by Nippon.com, the Tokyo metropolitan area now stands at around 33.4 million people. That number alone makes Tokyo larger than the population of many countries. But what makes it amazing is not just that it is crowded. It is that it is this crowded and still functions. If another city had to carry the same number of people, it would probably choke. Tokyo keeps moving. The clearest image of that is Shibuya Crossing. According to official tourism guidance, around 1,000 to 2,500 people cross that intersection every 2 minutes during peak hours. From above, it looks like a mass of people so dense it should collapse into chaos. But when you stand at street level, you realize it runs on rhythm. The light changes, people surge forward, then clear out, and the whole thing repeats at incredible speed, while still staying orderly enough not to turn into pointless pushing and confusion. Tokyo Metro alone, according to its FY 2024 report, carries an average of 6.84 million passengers a day, with 180 stations and a network stretching 195 kilometers. Just one subway operator moves the equivalent of an entire small nation every single day. That is why rail in Tokyo is not some secondary convenience. It is the backbone of the whole city. So Tokyo is not just big. People, trains, stations, stairways, underground passages, signs, and the rhythm of daily life are all compressed tightly together. But instead of falling into chaos, they form a machine that runs surprisingly smoothly. That is exactly what leaves so many people amazed. The strange face of Japan at night. If you only look at Japan during the day, it is easy to think of it as a pretty cold society. People talk quietly on trains. Office workers move fast and show very little emotion. Public spaces often feel neat, closed off, and stripped of anything unnecessary. But once evening comes, another side of Japan starts to show. Nightlife here does not have to be wild in the same way as cities famous for partying. What makes it strong is that it lets people loosen their grip a little after spending all day staying in character. One very typical feature is nomi hodai, the all-you-can-drink setup usually sold in 90 to 120-minute blocks. That turns post-work gathering into a familiar ritual. Head into an izakaya, order food, drink inside the time limit, then move on to karaoke or another spot. So nightlife in Japan is not just bars and clubs. It is packed izakaya full of office workers, private karaoke rooms, late-night food places, and thick streams of people still moving around long after work is over. Transportation is one of the reasons that energy stays alive. Tokyo Metro fares currently range from 180 to 330 yen for regular tickets, while a 24-hour pass costs 700 yen. That means with just a few hundred yen, you can change neighborhoods, meet friends, eat late, sing karaoke, and get home without worrying too much about driving or parking. In a city as large as Tokyo, nightlife depends heavily on the fact that the train system keeps people moving cheaply and consistently. What is interesting is that Japan at night does not need to go crazy to feel different. It only needs to soften a little, and suddenly it becomes something else. That is the part worth paying attention to. The people are the same, but once the ties are loosened, the karaoke room door closes, and the izakaya gets louder, you start to see more clearly the part of them that was compressed all day long. In Japan, some places feel creepy enough without ghosts. One of the most haunting places in Japan is Aokigahara Forest at the foot of Mount Fuji. According to official JNTO guidance, the forest covers about 30 square kilometers and formed on lava left behind by Mount Fuji's massive eruption in 864. The porous volcanic rock absorbs sound, which gives the forest an unnatural kind of silence. That geological structure alone is enough to make this place feel different from most forests ordinary travelers have ever walked through. What makes Aokigahara unsettling is not just the dark reputation attached to it. Even if you strip away every rumor, the terrain itself, the silence, and the way light falls through the woods are enough to throw people off balance. The trees grow densely, your sight lines stay short, sound gets swallowed up, and your sense of direction starts to loosen the deeper you go. It is the kind of place where after a while, people start to feel small, and their minds begin creating unease on their own. Japan is especially good at creating this kind of fear. No blood, no need for something to jump out of the dark. All it takes is a space that is too even, too closed, too quiet, and then one detail that feels slightly wrong. That is why Aokigahara is scary, not because it is loud, but because it is so silent. And that is what makes places like this memorable in Japan. They do not rely on spectacle. They rely on atmosphere. Once a place is quiet enough for the human mind to start filling in the blanks by itself, it does not need much more to become an obsession. Japan's bizarre festivals. A very clear example is Kanamara Matsuri in Kawasaki. According to Japan's official tourism site, this festival takes place on the first Sunday of April every year. On the surface, it is giant phallic floats, shock value souvenirs, and loud parades. Outsiders often do not know whether to laugh or feel awkward. But for Japan, it is not just some attention-grabbing spectacle. It is tied to older beliefs about fertility, marriage, good fortune, and health. The weirdness is in the form. The serious meaning sits underneath. Then you have something completely different, like the Namahage Sedo Festival in Akita. According to JNTO, it began at Miyajima Shrine in Oga in 1964 and is held over 3 days, on the second Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of February each year. During the festival, men wear demon masks, straw coats, and carry wooden knives as they appear like beings sent to scare lazy children and remind adults to live better lives. To outsiders, it can look genuinely frightening. To locals, it is part of the spiritual order of the new year. What makes Japanese festivals so fascinating is that they do not try to flatten themselves to fit modern logic. They keep symbols that are old, strange, and hard to explain in neat, rational terms, and that refusal to smooth everything out is exactly what makes them memorable. A country where trains run to the minute and stations are almost spotless can still preserve rituals that leave outsiders staring in confusion. That says a lot about Japan. No matter how modern it becomes, it has not fully severed itself from its older layers of belief. It does not get rid of strange things. It simply places them on the right day, in the right space, with the right ritual, and keeps living with them as if that is the most normal thing in the world. The unique character of Japanese cuisine. A lot of people think they understand Japanese food just because they have eaten sushi or ramen outside Japan. But what makes Japanese cuisine so strong is not just how many famous dishes it has. It is the way Japanese people treat small details, as if every dish deserves to be made properly. With sushi, what you are paying for is not just raw fish. It is the rice temperature, the sharpness of the vinegar, the thickness of the cut, how tightly it is shaped, and the exact moment the piece is placed in front of you. It looks simple, but almost nothing about it is allowed to be sloppy. Ramen works the same way. It is all called ramen, but when you move from one region of Japan to another, it becomes a different world. Sapporo is known for thick, rich miso ramen. Hakata is famous for heavy tonkotsu broth. Tokyo leans more toward lighter shoyu ramen. It is not just the broth that changes. The noodles, salt level, richness, toppings, and even the serving style shift too. So one ramen can already feel like two different food cultures depending on where you are. What stands out in Japan is that people do not usually cook in a careless way. From sushi rice to ramen broth to the way a tray meal is laid out, things are adjusted very carefully. Even a simple bento from a convenience store often looks more neatly arranged than what many places would consider necessary. A cup of matcha is not just powdered tea. It is also about how it is whisked, the water temperature, the strength, and how it feels in your hands. Places in Japan that look even better than the posters. Lake Kawaguchi is a perfect example. From there, you get a broad view of Mount Fuji rising to 3,776 meters, the highest mountain in Japan. In photos, it is a lake and a mountain. In real life, if the sky is clear enough, you start to understand why this image became a national symbol. Fuji is not just tall, it appears with an almost unreal symmetry. Standing at the water's edge, looking across at a snow-covered mountain reflected on the lake, the feeling hits harder than the picture does. Shirakawa-go gives a very different kind of feeling. This village was inscribed by UNESCO in 1995 as part of the historic villages of Shirakawa-go and Gokayama. What stays with people is not just the steep thatched roofs. It is the way the whole place feels like a fragment of another era that somehow survived into the present. In winter, when snow covers the roofs and warm yellow light spills out from the wooden houses, it almost stops feeling like a tourist destination. It feels like something preserved from another world. Miyajima works the same way. The floating torii gate is famous, but what stays in your head longer is everything around it. The slower walking pace, deer wandering around, forest paths, shrines, mountains, and the sea. It feels like the sacred side of the place and the natural side were never fully separated. Many Japanese destinations are powerful not because they are dramatic, but because they are preserved carefully and placed inside exactly the right atmosphere. That is part of what makes travel in Japan different. A lot of places are not beautiful just because of the landscape itself. They are beautiful because the paths, the framing, the pace of the visit, and the surrounding space have all been kept clean, tight, and very deliberate. And when a place is preserved that well, it usually leaves behind a feeling that lasts longer than the photo. The pressure of the cost of living in Japan. A lot of people fall in love with Japan through anime, travel vlogs, cherry blossoms, and bright city streets. But living in Japan is completely different from visiting for a few days. The first thing that hits you is not the scenery. It is housing. According to Japan Guide, the nationwide average rent for a one-room apartment of around 20 to 40 square meters, not including utilities, is about 50,000 to 70,000 yen a month. In central Tokyo or neighborhoods close to the center, that figure is often much higher. So if you choose the wrong location, a big part of your monthly budget is already locked into rent. Getting around is extremely convenient, but that convenience is not free. On Tokyo Metro, standard fares currently range from 180 to 330 yen for a single trip, while a 24-hour pass costs 700 yen. If you commute every day, trains quickly become a fixed monthly expense. It may not look painful one ride at a time, but once it builds up over a month, it becomes very real. So living in Japan is not just about being close to a station or far from one. It is a constant trade-off between rent, commute time, and how much pressure you can take from the daily rhythm of trains. Food works the same way. If you cook at home, you can control costs to some extent. If you eat out often, expenses rise faster than many people expect, even though Japan still has plenty of affordable casual restaurants. And the pressure of life in Japan is not just about bills, it is also about the discipline of the system. Trash has to be sorted correctly. Timing matters. Paperwork has to be handled properly. Things run well, but they also demand that you run well too. Japan can be very livable for people who prepare carefully, earn steadily, and can accept a disciplined rhythm of life. But if you arrive with a tourist mindset, you will burn out fast. Japan offers a life that functions well. In return, you pay in money, discipline, and the understanding that comfort here almost always comes with a very clear price. Japan is not just a country of cleanliness, cutting-edge convenience, and almost unbelievable precision, but also a place filled with hidden contradictions, silent gaps, and truths that can completely change the way you see it. If you enjoyed this journey, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you can keep exploring more hidden sides, strange realities, and untold stories from around the world with us.